Hi, this is Brent Peterson again. Welcome back. This is step 3 of filling out your FlightPath Discovery workbook. And today we're going to focus on experience and education. And it looks like this in our workbook. We've chosen to organize experience and education along 2 dimensions. On the left side, we have depth or subject matter expertise. So think of it as narrow, deep expertise that you have and need to have for your particular profession. And on the right, we have more of a breadth. So the idea here is, you can only be an expert in a few areas. So you can't know everything about a profession or the whole domain of which that profession operates in. And so thinking about what can I learn that broadens me and allows me to see and do my profession from multiple perspectives, or learn what is upstream from my perspective. So if I'm working in human resources, I may want to understand as much as I can about finance, or potentially because data and information systems are so important, I want to learn about how cloud-based human capital management systems work. Another way to think about breadth is to work in a different type of entity. So if you've been working in mature companies, then working in earlier phase companies could be a broadening experience. The idea of working, perhaps if you're in the U.S. business region, then taking on a global role could be another broadening. So those are the 2 notions here, and these will serve you well. This particular phase of filling out your workbook requires certainly more individual effort, but we've tried to make it as simple as possible. So first, starting with I'm actually have it on experience, so I'll continue the thought here on experience. So take a quick tally of the experience I have that I would consider deep subject matter expertise, and then experience I need as I reflect on. And if you'll remember, in step 2, I identified human resources as a potential career destination. Then I would be thinking about the experience that would make me very competitive for that. And I'm thinking about depth first, and then I'm thinking about breadth second. And so identifying the experience that you need in both depth and breadth. And if that's difficult for me to imagine, I could ask my current employer. I could also go online and look at some postings. And so this is pretty attainable information. It may take a little bit of effort, and then that allows you to compare the inventory of experience you have with the experience you need to identify those gaps, and then talk about specific actions to fill those gaps, things that are very tangible, and then give yourself a time frame. These 3 fields, both on the depth and breadth, will populate on your flight path summary and give you that visual of your goals on experience. We have the same thought process on education. So again, what things do I want to become deep subject matter expert in? And is there a way to get some breadth in my education? And so staying with the HR example, perhaps I have an undergraduate degree, but I need a master's, so that would be an obvious depth gap that I could identify, and then decide whether I would do it part-time or online, how I would attain that. And then on the breadth side, I could learn about a P&L, a profit and loss statement for a business, or how to read financials. I could do that on my own, or I could do that with a online course, or spending time with a mentor. So there's different ways to get educational breadth. And so the idea here is to identify both gaps in education and experience, and then work towards addressing those with specific actions and timing. And with that, so this step is a thoughtful step, but a really, really important step, because we actually know that based on research that about 70% of our growth and development as people come from actually, doing the work, having new experiences, taking on a project maybe that teaches you something that you need to know. And if you have it identified in your flight path, then obviously you'll be seeking those opportunities, and when they come, then you can validate that, yes, I've learned a particular skill, and then you can move on to the next action plan that you've created in your flight path. We also know that about 20% of what you learn comes from role models and mentors, and so that's why in our next module, in step 4, we're going to focus on networking. And so if you need some help there, come back, watch that video, and good luck.